Bonsoir, bon appetit. Oh my God, I'm making beef burgundy, my favorite French comfort food this fall. Check this out. Look, oh my gosh, that's so hot. Look what that looks like with those onions, those beef, the burgundy wine, the onions, the carrots, oh my God, all these flavors. And this is the dish. I served it. Look how beautiful it is. You just have to serve it with a baguette, and you know what? Unbelievably good. To make your beef burgundy, you want to start this the night before. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut up the chuck roast into cubes about 1.5 inches, and we're going to throw it in the bowl. We're going to trim off as much of the fat as we can. We're going to throw a bouquet garni inside that bowl. We're going to throw 3 garlic cloves crushed and just throw that in there. And pour in our wine. Burgundy wine is best. If you can't find Burgundy wine, don't yell at me in France, but you know what? Another wine that you like a lot will work. Drier wines are nice. I kind of like Beaujolais with it, which is what I'm going to use today, because the Burgundy I did find was really on the low end, and I'm not willing to drink that, so I always use something I will drink. Now, what's inside my bouquet garni, which is basically herbs tied together, is thyme from my garden, and parsley, and a bay leaf from my bay leaf tree right behind me. If you don't have a bay leaf tree like I do in my kitchen, I don't know how many people do that, but a dried one is fine. And if it's in winter and you can't find, the fresh herbs make all the difference, but if you can't find it, use dry herbs, and get like a tea container. Let's see if I can find it. So this is like a tea container, and it has a bunch of holes, and I'll throw it in there and put it in there. And it's easy to pull out when you're done. So let's get started. Let's cut our meat here. So what I like to do is I like to look at where the fat runs. And if you can see that, there's a big line in the center here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just follow that and cut all the way across. And this is the Steve way. And I find it to work nicely, actually. So I keep following that fat and waste as little of that beautiful red meat as I can. And now I'm just going to feel it where it's really tough there and there. You see that? I'm going to take a look how that forms. And I might even get a smaller knife to follow that and just cut that out. And you just got to be patient, but that's what you're going to do, is take all the fat out as much as you can. Now this is going to tear anyway, so I'm just going to pull it apart and do it here so you guys can see better. Move all this. There we go. All right. And that's how I like to do it. It looks pretty good. There's a big hunk there. So I'm going to bend it in a little bit and trim that fat as much as I can. Trim that fat as much as I can. This takes a little patience, but you're going to turn an inexpensive meat into something just beautiful. And trust me, this is going to be so tender and lovely that you will enjoy that so much. Okay, that looks good. Cut it here. And if it's not perfectly the same size, don't worry about it. You know, this is probably like too big of a piece. I'm gonna cut that in half. You know, bite size is ideal. There's no exact science, but this is one of my favorite comfort foods. I absolutely love beef Burgundy. It is the perfect French comfort food. It really is. And it's easy to make. Just takes a little preparation. And the reward is amazing. It just keeps a little fat there. I'll just pull that off. There we go. You know, pause the video here, because I'm sure you don't want to watch me cut through all this. Okay, I'm back. Cubed all that beef. Got patiently removed as much of the fat as I could. So if you notice, there'll be just tiny little bits of fat. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Just get the most of it out. Now we're just going to take our 3 garlic cloves. Give it a good smash with your knife on the side. Throw that in there. Throw that in there. Your bouquet garni. Open your wine. By the way, if anybody's interested how to open a wine bottle correctly, I did do a video on it. And it gives you a nice clean edge. And anyways, you need a whole bottle of wine. So we're just going to pour that in there. All that wine is going to just penetrate that. Now, take your fingers and move this around. You want to get everything into the wine. Bouquet garni, garlic, etc. All right. Got my trusty rag or kitchen towel. We're going to cover it. If you don't have one of these, you can just use saran wrap. I try to avoid using saran wrap. Just too much plastic in the oceans, which if you ever seen it like I have, it's just a terrible thing. Ocean is so beautiful. Anyways, so we're going to stick in that. Minimum 3 hours. Ideally, overnight. It just adds so much. But if you're in a pinch and you got to do it, you got to do it. 3 hours. No problem. Do it in the morning, go to work, come back, and it's marinated. There you go. So we'll be back tomorrow, and I'll show you how to make this beautiful dish, beef Burgundy. Bon soleil. All right, so let me introduce you to my ingredients to make a beautiful beef Burgundy. Oh my gosh, comfort food that is just amazing. So, what are you gonna need? Oh my gosh. So you're gonna need some mushrooms, about 8 ounces of mushrooms, an onion. You're gonna need some carrots. I recommend, 3 carrots or 1 very large carrot. Some carrots now come so thick, but anyways. So you can see in this video what these carrots look like. They're smaller carrots. You're going to need, about 13 ounces of pearl onions or shallots. Now, I'm using pearl onions that were frozen at the grocery store. They're already peeled. It's so much easier. If not, the really traditional way is to use shallots. Just use small shallots. If you go to the grocery store today, these shallots are so huge. Now you got to hunt for the small ones, which has become more difficult and more difficult. So this is a solution. Pearl onions that are already peeled and ready to go at the frozen section of your grocery store. Not all of them carry it, so check. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of flour. You're going to need a couple ounces of butter. I'm using some clarified butter. please see my video how to make clarified butter. It has a higher smoke point. If you don't have clarified butter, use a tablespoon of olive oil and a tablespoon of butter instead. Actually, I revised that. Half tablespoon and a half tablespoon of oil and butter. You're going to need some sea salt. We have enough sodium in our diets. Some freshly ground pepper. And, of course, you're going to need about 3.5 pounds of chuck steak, which here I cubed. And you already watched, you will see the video right after this how I did this. And I have my bouquet garni in there and 3 garlic cloves. And a bottle of red wine, preferably Burgundy. If you can't get Burgundy, get something you really like the taste of. I recommend either Beaujolais or Côte d'Or or something that has a really good flavor and not too heavy though. And that's it. That's all you need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop my onion. I'm going to coarsely chop my carrots. I'm going to clean my mushrooms with my trusted vegetable brush, which, by the way, one side is stiff, one side is soft. Use the soft side on your mushrooms and do it gently. And right before we're ready to saute those, we will wash them as well. And we will be back. Let me get all this worked up and we'll be back. Okay, so I chopped my carrots, my onion. Mushrooms I haven't gotten to yet. I'm saving, if you have these, I'm saving this to use for garnish when I serve. But now what we got to do is you're going to need a heavy casserole. You're going to need the largest frying pan you got. And if you don't have a large one, it's okay. You can do it in batches when we brown the meat, which will be later. But right now we're going to put this guy on. And this is a Dutch oven or casserole. And we're just going to put it on a good medium high heat. Medium. And we're going to throw 2 tablespoons of butter in there. We're going to let that melt. While that's doing that, we are going to get our beef out and marinate. This could be a little messy, so have a kitchen towel handy. But the first thing you're going to do is you're going to rescue your bouquet garni. And this is thyme, parsley, and a bay leaf, just tied together. Just adds flavor. And then we're going to take this. Got my smashed garlic right here. And I'm just going to push down, get the juices out, like that. And I'm going to drop my beef onto paper towel and keep going, because what we're going to do is dry this up. Keep an eye on your butter. Get a wooden spoon or wooden something handy. Just make sure butter doesn't burn. There we go. And this takes no time. Beef Burgundy, most prep work is very little. It takes a long time to cook it because you're slowly cooking it. But the prep time, it's not bad at all. And this is a delicious meal. It's one of my, actually, is it my favorite comfort meal in the winter or fall? Yeah, it's right up there, I would say. It's so delicious. And you know what the great thing about this is that you can keep, if you have leftovers, just keep it in the casserole and put it in your fridge. And then dinner the next day or the following day. Put it back in your oven at a low temperature again, and cook it for a half an hour. And that just even makes it better. This is one dish. The longer you cook it, the better it is. So we're going to put this for like 2 hours. There we go. Oh, I hear that sizzling. That's my cue. And I'm just dropping all those carrots in there. Toss that in that wonderful butter. And now I'm going to lower the heat to a low heat and cook this for 10 minutes. All right, so let's finish this. And it's finished. Okay, perfect. So put that. One ingredient that I forgot to tell you that you'll need is you'll need duck fat. Now, I get this at Whole Foods. I'm sure you can order it online. If you can't get it, it's okay. Use bacon as a substitute. And just substitute with bacon, cook the bacon, and just use that fat from those juices from the bacon and do that. All right, well, that's cooking for 10 minutes. I want to, and did you see how I laid that? I did like 2 layers of paper towels, and then I did like a bunch of extra that I put to the side. And what I do is I just do this. Let it soak, let it soak. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, I did. I was looking at my notes. I forgot to put my bouquet in there. But you don't want to put it right away. Okay, that looks good. Oh, butter, carrots, onions. What a great smell that is. All right, so I'm going to drop that bouquet in there. Low heat, 10 minutes. And I'm going to keep patting this dry, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. Okay, so I've been drying this really good. If you notice, I got paper towels on here, and they're pretty much dry. So that's the sign that you dried it enough. Now, it's been 10 minutes, and I'm simply just going to take my casserole dish and take it off. Oh, it smells delicious. I'm just taking it off the heat. Put it aside. Now I dropped about a tablespoon and a half probably of clarified butter. I'm going to raise the heat on this to a medium high. Now I'm going to need my flour soon, not now. And my marinade, which I got handy there. I don't need these mushrooms for a while, so I'm going to put that aside. I don't need the duck fat for a while. I'll put it aside. So just take a chance to organize yourself when you're getting ready to do something. And I'm going to move this over here. And I'm going to take this, put it aside. Look at the temperature. Well, I like to look at the flame, whatever setting you put it on. Just the habit of mine. And this I'm just going to cover and just let it be. Now once this gets hot, we're going to fry those in batches. Actually, I'm not going to cover this. What am I doing? I'm going to leave it open because once they're brown, I'm going to throw them into that casserole, if that makes sense. So it's already starting. Now this is clarified butter, so it won't do the sizzle, loud sizzle that oil or that regular butter would do, because there's no moisture in it. There's no water, and that's the reason you hear the sizzling. So water is boiling. So anyways, a little fun fact. Okay, so now let's throw these guys in. And what we're going to do is we're just going to brown them on two sides. And if you notice, I go kind of like a circle, so I know which ones have been the longest there. Okay, so we're frying this. One thing you want to do is you want to turn your oven up to 315. I have a convection oven, so I'm just going to 300. A regular oven, 315. Slow heat. You want to heat it slow. And you want to try to put the casserole dish as much in the center of your oven as you can. Alright, let's check on that. My browning here, and I'll do a close-up so you guys can see what that looks like when it's brown. Beautiful. Alright, so let me do that.
Okay, so that's what the carrots and the onions and bouquet gallienne looked after 10 minutes. Just almost translucent, the onions. And this is the browning of the meat. As you can see, it's just starting to get a beautiful color. You don't want to cook it, just want to brown it. So this is ready to be transported into the casserole dish. So we'll be back.
So this beef is nice and brown. I'm going to drop it in there. I'm reserving the juices. You don't have to be too careful though. Keep the juices in there. Use a spatula. Probably easiest, fastest.
Okay, this is what your pan looks like. Transferred all the beef, and this is what your pan looks like after I brown all this. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my wine or marinade or whatever you want to call it and drop it gently. Look at that, I'm doing this with one hand, folks. Alright, and we're just going to deglaze it. I'm going to raise the heat back up, and just like, oops, sorry, that's a bad camera thing. Here we go. And we're just going to gently get all that browning and just loosen it. And that's it. Alright, we're going to switch cameras.
So we poured the wine marinade, and we just deglazed the pan. Got all that wonderful browning loose from the bottom. Now I'm just going to gently take it off the heat, put it aside. We're going to need that. And we're going to take this and put it back on the high heat. And this is very important. Where's my flour? So I'm going to get a small mitt. That'll make it easier for me. By the way, these small mitts are wonderful. Gives you a good hold, and you can do what you need to do. So now you're just going to sprinkle the flour across the beef and vegetables. And you're going to do a little bit at a time. And then just toss that. And then again, you're going to do it again. Sprinkle, 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 little star. Kidding. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
This is why I cook and don't sing. All right. I'm gonna turn that. And what we're doing is coating the meat and the vegetables in the flour. And I'll give you a close-up on that in a minute, but I can't stop right now. You gotta sprinkle, sprinkle. Sprinkle, sprinkle. All right. And this is a high heat, and you gotta stir it. There we go. You want everything nice and coated. Oh, it's looking amazing. This is so easy. This is such an easy dish, and this is probably one of the oldest dishes I've made. I made so many of these. A favorite of mine. Favorite of my guests. A favorite of the people I love. So it's wonderful. Okay, so this is good and tossed. I'm going to drop the rest of the flour. Sprinkle, sprinkle. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to do a quick little video to show you what this looks like. So this is what it looks like after we tossed it with the flour. Beautiful. So now we're just going to add the marinade into it and throw it in the oven. Let's do that. Just be careful because you're using a large pan. I suggest a little steep tip. Okay. I suggest you grab it one side, grab it from another side. And now we're just going to drop that in there. That way you don't have any spillage. Turn off the heat. You're going to give it one good toss. Oh, I wish you guys could smell this. It's amazing. Oh. I mean, it's not even cooked yet. And by the way, this in the oven will send a smell throughout the house that is just like, people are going to be asking you, is it ready? Is it ready? All right. Now, you want to cover it. You got a little bit of the vegetables that went up on the side here, so I'm just going to push them down. And we're just going to let that cook. 2 hours. So now you can do something else. I'm going to open my oven. Oh, throw it in there. Oh, set a timer. Boom. 2 hours. We will be back, and the rest is pretty simple. We'll saute the pearl onions, the mushrooms, and duck fat, and yeah. Okay, we are back. So, this point, it's been almost 2 hours. Actually, it's about to be 2 hours. That my beef burgundy has been cooking in the oven. And now I'm kind of ready to saute my pearl onions or shallots. You could do shallots. My mushrooms. And traditionally you would do it with bacon. But I found that using duck or duck fat is wonderful. So I have some saved duck, a little bit of duck here. And that is what I'm going to use instead of bacon. So I'm going to drop my duck in here. I'm going to turn up my heat. Ooh. There we go.
And we're going to throw some duck fat in there as well. Now, if you don't have duck, you can just buy a jar of duck fat from Whole Foods in the United States. And around the world, you can definitely find duck fat. But I'm going to take a little bit of it. About, let's say a good tablespoon. There we go. You don't need a whole lot. Now, if you don't have any duck, I would put 2 tablespoons. A tablespoon and a half. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the duck in there. Slowly heat it up. Because remember, I didn't defrost the duck. It's frozen. My pearl onions came from the freezer as well. I put them in the fridge so they would defrost. So they're still like icy, but yeah. So we're gonna cook the duck here, and it's gonna put a beautiful layer of browning down here. And I'll do a close-up of that for you. And this is Steve's secret to making beef burgundy. I love Steve, because traditionally you would use bacon to do this. I just find that the duck adds so much flavor, and it's so good. So this is browning. The duck is quickly defrosting and cooking. It's already cooked. This is just leftover duck from like different things I did. But I want that browning at the bottom. And that's why I'm spreading it.
So I am browning this in the duck fat and duck. Now if you don't have duck, it's okay. Just use duck fat. If you don't have duck or duck fat, use bacon. And yeah, just brown the onions, and then we're gonna add the mushrooms. So there's the duck fat, the duck, my mushrooms, and I'm just being gentle. This is on a high heat now, but I'm being gentle, and I'm just browning everything. And you don't want to overdo it. This is perfect. This is when you got to stop. This is the color you got to stop and add it to your casserole.
So, now that we sauteed our pearl onions, our mushrooms, and that beautiful duck fat, oh my gosh, we're going to take my casserole out. Quickly close that oven. Look, oh my God, that is so beautiful. And then we're just going to add it in there. And I'm just going to do a quick video what that looks like.
Look at that. That just came out of the oven. We're going to incorporate our onions and mushrooms and duck into that. And oh my God, it's going to be so delicious.
So, don't be shy. Take this and just dump it all in there. Don't waste anything though. We want everything that you have in that pan in there. Okay. Now look how simple this is. It's really simple. I'm stirring it. Stirring, stirring, stirring. God. I wish you guys can smell this. It's just... It's just amazing. Okay, so I'm tapping it down. I'm
I'm going to cover it again. And I'm putting it right back in the oven for another 30 minutes. Oh. And if you did a good job of taking most of the fat off when you were trimming the beef, you won't have to skim it much. But anyways, we will be back. And oh my gosh, if you could smell this, it's just amazing. Oh, God, I love food. I am going to take this guy out of the oven. Oh, so much heat. Oh. And this is one dish that you can never cook too long. It is delicious. It is absolutely unbelievable. So we're going to give this a little stir. And I got to show you what this looks like. So I'm going to switch cameras and show you what this looks like. Look at that. Look how delicious that looks. So what we're going to do is find what remains of our bouquet garni. And, oh, there it is. Sorry about the steam. Let's see if I back it up here. So we're going to remove our bouquet garni. We're going to stir that in. Rub in the sides. And look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Honestly, this is so delicious, so flavorful. You got to make this. So, bonsoir, bon appetit. I hope you enjoy this. Please share. Share with the world. Subscribe. Anyways, I'm humbled at how many subscribers I already got. I know it's not like hundreds and whatever, but, you know, thank you, my subscribers. You guys are amazing. I hope you enjoy the dishes. Bonsoir, bon appetit.